My stickies! Access denied. What you just saw was a live-action recreation of a 2-fort clip where I use what is probably my favorite demo loadout. The Loch-n-load and the Scottish Resistance. A loadout that allows you to choose between extra elaborate traps with the Scottish Resistance or extra aggressive pushes with the Loch-n-load. So I want to get some traps set up below the stairs, but a demo's trying to squeeze through like 3 of us at once. So I go in and delete him with the Scottish Resistance. And then once I got some sticky traps done, I check the pipes as you do on 2-fort. And as I was doing that, I turn around and see that a soldier has just scattered my stickies all over the place. And I managed to deal with their medic using the Loch-n-load, but the soldier gets away. I go to pursue, but they're already gone. And out of nowhere, an engineer just starts setting up a dispenser right in front of our entire team. But the Loch-n-load deals with that no problem. But neither of these are very popular amongst the community. So today, I'm going to tell you why, despite what you may think, they're actually viable choices. Starting with...
We have the holy hand grenade! Yes, of course!
The Loch-n-load, my usual pick for a grenade launcher. Hear me out. No matter what you say, it's not a crutch. Demo having easier to hit grenades and longer range really helps. And the downside of not having rollers is actually the perfect way to balance it. It sacrifices not having rollers for area denial for easy to hit grenades. Therefore, it's a side grade because it's better at landing direct hits and worse at area denial. And if you don't like that, just use the Scottish Resistance. And I know someone's gonna complain about the clip size penalty. But how am I supposed to play demo with one less grenade? Someone's always saying how one less grenade in the clip ruins the entire thing. I think the only reason everyone thinks it's the worst thing in the history of the world is because roller spam can consume so much ammo. And since there are no rollers in the Loch-n-load, if you just tried using it, you'd realize you really don't need that extra ammo. A similar thing can be said about the blast radius penalty. Rollers rely on a large blast radius, but that's not really all that important for landing direct hits. The extra range compensates for not having rollers to go that extra distance. And to wrap this up, the extra building damage. I think it's there mainly because of how devastating rollers can be near a sentry nest. Don't think it's any sort of added bonus in terms of ease of taking down buildings, but I do think it makes up for not having rollers in terms of effectiveness of taking them down. Never really had trouble with blowing up engineer buildings with this thing. Honestly, I think it's a solid side grade, and easily just as good as stock. Honestly, every grenade launcher except the loose cannon is reliable. Also, the name is funny. I'd recommend using it with the sticky jumper, as it really helps close the distance. But as mentioned before, it really works well with...
Do you want to explode?
Now, the Scottish Resistance is one of those weapons commonly regarded as not necessarily having a really debilitating weakness, but not having good enough upsides to be viable, meaning you'd be better off with something else. Well, here's why that's not the case. Its arm time penalty is one of those weaknesses that can be nullified just by using it well. Since its purpose is more elaborate traps and less spam, efficient use of it nullifies it completely. So I don't see what the problem is. Also, keep in mind that this is its only weakness. The Scottish Resistance is commonly associated with a playstyle of managing 5 choke points at once. Despite what you may think, it can really work to some extent. The entire point of playing demo is area denial, or at least partially. So covering more ground only helps with that. It also just helps not to have to detonate them all at once. On top of that, even in one area, it just helps to have extra stickies to make sure no one slips past. I can't tell you how many times this has saved a trap from missing. So while everyone complains about its one weakness, instead of praising its numerous benefits, I'll be making the most of my traps. Well, that's about it, and as always, I'm MSR Gaming and I don't do fancy outros.